Hey guys, Bob O'Kane back here with another episode of Kayfabe Conversations. And today I have a very special guest with me. We have the new IBEW Champion and the new also MKW Tag Team Champion, Buffa. How you doing, bro? What's going on?
Doing great, man. Great to be here, man. How you doing?
I'm doing awesome, man. Congratulations. You've been the belt collector recently, I see.
Thank you.
You've been absolutely cleaning up, man. Everybody's talking about you. How does it feel? One, to win the belts, and two, after how has the last year been for you, or the last 18 months?
Woo! It's been a crazy experience.
Yeah.
Something I've never experienced. I'm sure you haven't experienced anything like this. I don't think any of us have.
Yeah, it's been crazy. How's it affected your wrestling? Obviously now you're back in the swing of things, cleaning house and winning belts. But how many, like, have you been wrestling for the last year and a half? Like, what's been going on?
Oh yeah, for sure. It's affected the wrestling not as much as many other people outside of China that I've noticed. It was the longest like layover I've had in wrestling since I've started.
Okay.
Back when I was 15 years old. Yeah, I was out of work for about 6 months.
Oh shit, okay.
But Adrian and KW, they came through, man.
Yeah, you guys have been, what is it, episode 30 or something of Blast Off now, right?
Yeah, Blast Off was created because of the pandemic.
Yeah. Hey, man, that's amazing, right?
Lesson in disguise, man.
Yeah. Well, again, congratulations on all your success recently as well. We'll get to your belts and everything that's happened recently. But while I've been doing my research and stuff for this interview, I came across some mind-blowing shit of yours, which is fucking awesome, and I can't wait to ask you some questions about it. Like I've been scrolling through your old shit from like 2005 and stuff, and like that shit is awesome. But we'll start from the beginning, basically. Like, how did you get into wrestling? Who, like, were you as a kid, were you just a fan and stuff? Like, who got you into wrestling?
I wasn't really a fan of pro wrestling until I was 10 years old. Okay. So my early childhood, I was into, video games, action, girls.
Nice.
I came across wrestling by mistake, honestly, man.
Oh,
I
really?
won't say always knew about wrestling when I was younger, when I wasn't a fan, but I wound up sitting down and watching a full match, a full wrestling show by mistake.
Okay, what do you know? What show? Do you remember what show it was?
Superstars, WWF Superstars, Saturday mornings. I think it's like 11 a.m.
Yeah. And how old were you at the time?
10 years old.
10 years old. So when was this?
93.
93. Okay.
Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah. You look amazing for your age, dude. What the hell?
Yeah, thank you, man.
Bro, how'd you keep your hair? I used to have hair like yours, and then this is what happened. This is the result of it.
I don't know, man. I don't know how many more years I have left.
Well, you're on top of the game now, brother. That's amazing.
Hey, man, I'm sure if I buzz it, I'll see a little light spots.
Yeah.
I'm soon. So if it's hidden, then let it stay hidden until the time comes where it just all starts falling out. Then I'll deal with it. I'll
deal with it right now. Exactly.
Yeah, I'm keeping it the way it is.
Yeah, well, it's also, I love it. It's like part of your gimmick too, with all the little clips and stuff, and you coming out to the ring and stuff. I think it's sick. Especially around Asia, you don't see that many dudes, massive jack black guys with dreadlocks walking around in China.
That is true, man. But nowadays, it's like everybody has dreadlocks in wrestling. So
yeah,
it doesn't stand out as much as it did like a few years ago. But I make sure it stands out with like the little pineapple top.
Yeah.
And like the barrettes and stuff. So I make it stand out for me.
I literally, if I still had hair, I would probably have exactly the same as you. I probably wouldn't have my wife, but I would have sick ass dreads. Yeah. She
Yeah,
sees a photo of me back in the day with dreads, and she's like, we would not be together.
oh,
I was like a fat white guy with like thick ass dreads. Like I got them done in a Thai massage parlor in Koh Samui.
yeah.
Like it was bad. Like 4 a.m. Like some random masseuse like dreadlocked my hair.
Oh wow.
Yeah. My mom said to
Yeah.
me, I don't care. My mom said to me when I went to Thailand, I don't care who or what you do, just don't come back with
Yeah.
dreadlocks. And I came back with
Oh wow.
dreadlocks. Yeah, she was not happy.
Oh man.
But anyway, so 93, you start watching wrestling, and who are your favorites then? Like what got you hooked?
Oh, what got?
Yeah.
Because I wanted to be an actor before a pro wrestler.
Okay.
Now, I thought like wrestling was like 100% legit.
Yeah.
And like they're all big, jacked up, like the superheroes that I love to watch on X-Men, and they're like the guys in the comics, you know. They have all these bright colors and they throwing kicks and fighting and punching. Like, this is what I want to do. Like,
Yeah.
and it's on every week. It's not like movies where like you won't see an actor for like maybe a year. Like he drops one movie one year, you see him maybe next year in another movie. I'm like, these wrestlers on TV every single week. So you have all the airtime. And wrestling, there's no off season. So I'm like, if I want to be actor, I want to be on TV. I'm like, this is perfect. I'll be on TV every goddamn week.
Yeah.
This is it. This is what I want to do for the rest of my life. And I was just hooked. So 1-2-3 Kid was my guy. But I loved everybody like the Shawn Michaels, you know, me, Public Enemy, Rock the Roll Express.
Oh, nice. That's a whole range, yeah. So how old were you when you realized like, okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna start training and I want to be a wrestler?
15.
Oh shit, okay, nice. And what was your parents' reaction to that? I'm gonna be a pro wrestler.
They thought it was a phase.
Yeah.
Because like me and my brother got into it, you know, at the same time. You know, we was never into it like prior to that. And like we had family that weren't like wrestling fans. They watch it here and there, but they weren't fans like that. So we were like the only ones. So they was like, this is just a phase. You know, we're kids. Yeah. We're not like teenagers yet. So they're thinking like, maybe like a few months they're gonna be into something else. Yeah. But it just stuck. And they was like, oh wow, you guys really like want to do this? We're like, yeah. So once we started training and like taking it seriously, they're like, oh, okay, like, hey, just, you know, make sure you're safe. Yeah, well, that's it, right? As long as you're safe, do what you like. Yeah, so where were you? Where did you start training? I started training at this wrestling school in New York City, in Brooklyn, New York, called the Doghouse. Okay, it's the same school that Homicide and Low Key came out of. Oh, sweet. Okay. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. So then you trained there, and then did you start just doing small local shows around New York and stuff? Yeah, well, at the Doghouse, it was open for, like, I got there in, like, late 2000, but I didn't start training there until 2001. Right. Then it closed in, like, 2002, like, I think, like, mid-2002. So we would do shows. There were shows every single weekend, every single Saturday. There were shows, no matter what, rain, sleet, or snow. There'd be one person in the crowd to like 200 people in the crowd. It didn't matter, which was great because, you know, I got to wrestle in front of a crowd every single week. So yeah, and you're getting your reps in, right? That's the most important thing. The learning process for me, and I learned a lot. And like I say, like that year and a half, 2 years. I learned so much. I was so advanced. Like even before I started training there, we would like rent the ring and do our little shit. We used to call it small indies because it was a level above backyard wrestling. Yeah. Wrestling ring. So we called it small indies. So I would do these small indie shows like Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. So I was like wrestling like freaking 4 times a week and training on the weekdays. So I was getting all these reps in, man. Yeah, that's awesome, like, man. That's amazing. Yeah.
So okay, so that's early 2002, 2003, and then you start out as a member of All Money is Legal.
Yeah.
What can you tell me about that? There's the three of you.
Yeah, it was three of us. It was me and my brother originally.
Right.
Then we brought in our cousin Dizzy, so he was the third member.
Okay.
The Doghouse, they pit me and my brother together because when we used to like do these small indie shows, we would always be wrestling each other because we wanted to be single wrestlers first and eventually become a tag team. So, you know, we had these two skinny kids. So they're like, instead of you guys being singles guys, we're just going to put you together. Your brothers, so why a team? You know, so they put us together, made us a team. So when the Doghouse closed, we had been like 2-time tag champs there. And when it closed, that's when we started hitting the indies and doing like indie shows.
Yeah. So I was looking at some of the companies you worked for, and now so like this fucking blows my mind. Some of this. Okay, so I'm just gonna list a few off. Okay, you got Juggalo Championship Wrestling, Victory Pro Wrestling, New York Wrestling Connection, NWA Cyberspace, Frontier Martial Arts Wrestling, House of Glory, Chikara, CZW. Like these are some big fucking companies, right? Like the names that stand out to me there are Juggalo Championship Wrestling, FMW, Frontier Martial Arts, and CZW. Like, like what was going on in those matches? Were you doing death matches? Because FMW is super famous for the death matches too, right?
Yeah, I was doing the explosion matches in FMW.
Holy shit, that's amazing.
I've gotten hit with the barbed wire bat that exploded. I'll send you the videos of that.
Yeah, dude, that would be sick.
I used to wrestle Onita all the time in Japan for FMW.
Really? So how old were you when this was going on?
This was like back in like I started working for FMW back in like 2015. I think 2014, 15, when I was working for 01, because they had like a working relationship with FMW. So that's what led me to wrestling in FMW against like Onita.
And you had an exploding barbed wire baseball bat match.
Oh, yeah, I've gotten hit with that thing and got exploded like about 3 or more times. And
oh shit!
I think power drivers from Onita through a freaking Japanese table that never broke.
Oh. Yeah, that as soon as I saw FMW on that list, I was like, "Holy shit!" Like I remember seeing one thing there when they had like what we would call an inferno match now, but they just set the ring on fire and it got so hot that the guys had to bail, like they had to get out of the ring. Like that shit was crazy. And then also tell me about Juggalo Championship Wrestling, the Insane Clown Posse. What were you doing there? That's crazy too.
That was wild. This came about because at the time my brother and I, we were working for Pro Wrestling Unplugged.
Okay.
And Todd Gordon, which is one of my mentors, he was like booking for the company at the time.
Todd Gordon was booking for Juggalo Championship Wrestling.
He was booking for PWU.
Oh, okay.
But they brought in the Insane Clown Posse, so they had like an invasion angle between PWU and JCW.
Okay.
So that's what led us to working with JCW.
Did you ever? What's the main show? The Gathering of the Juggalos or something?
Yeah, no, we did Hollow Wicked. It was there like Hollow Wicked. I don't know if you know about the Hollow Wicked. They do like a big concert.
Yeah. I used to be a big ICP fan, actually.
Oh yeah. I still am. So yeah, we did Hollow Wicked. That was wild. We wound up having like a pumpkin death match. Speaking of death matches, we had a pumpkin death match after their Hollow Wicked concert at like 2 a.m. against the SAT.
Okay. How does a pumpkin death match work? What, you get slammed and the pumpkins explode?
This is the crazy thing. They had these giant pumpkins surrounding the apron of the ring, and these pumpkins were filled with hot wax.
What?
Yes. Insane. So during that match, and you know, like the the juggalos at these wrestling shows, they throw shit in the ring.
Yeah.
So during the match, the fans are right there next to the apron, no guardrails. They're picking up these giant pumpkins with hot wax in it, and they're throwing it at us in the ring while we're wrestling. I'm on the top rope. A big pumpkin comes flying past me.
Holy shit.
I was supposed to do a move or something to one of the SAT. This big pumpkin comes flying past me. I jump off the top rope. I pick up one of the pumpkins from the apron and I just fling it in the crowd. And it just, like the person I tried to hit, I didn't get to hit. I wound up hitting the chick that was in front of him.
Oh shit.
I'm like, fuck it.
Yeah, dude, also because the fans at the JCW shows are fucking crazy too.
Yeah, I hate that. I was just like, all right, that's how you want to play. So
yeah, you want to go, let's go.
Just throwing pieces in the crowd at them and all that. We was the heels in the match anyway, so it made sense.
Yeah, that's insane. And then the other one, CZW, Combat Zone Wrestling. What was the deal there? Because those guys are pretty fucking crazy too.
Yeah, man. And this was at the height of CZW. Right. This is when they had all like the pure wrestlers there. So it was looked at more as like it wasn't like looked at as like a death match company at this time.
Okay.
Started bringing all the good workers in. This was like 2004.
Okay, nice.
And, about a year after we hit the indies, so we was there at a great time, and the fans treated us great. Like Zandig, he loved us. You know, he gave us a huge opportunity and was really pushing us for like a few. I think we was there for like about a year and a half.
Oh, sick. Okay, that's awesome.
Then that's when we, after like the booking changed, like I guess like the new booker at the time, he wasn't like really sold on us. He was more into like the guys from like Canada, like the IWS and stuff like that. He was pushing for those guys.
Okay.
We jumped ship to PWU because this was after the Backstreet Boys. They left CZW and started PWU.
Yeah.
So we jumped ship to PWU and left CZW at this time. So that's what led us to go into PWU and leaving CZW.
Okay, because so also one thing I saw when I was going through, actually two things which I was doing research, and two things I fully marked out for, like a full-blown fanboy, was a 2005 World Tag League in Chikara. You guys wrestle Kevin Steen and El Generico. Obviously now Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. How was that? Like what was that like?
Oh, that was awesome, man. I love that match. That match, it was a little bit of everything, man. We like joked around in there, did a little bit of comedy.
Chikara is known. They've got player Uno and player Dos who like hit the pause button and shit, right? Those guys have some pretty crazy comedy stuff going on.
Yeah, you know, it works for like certain guys. You know, if you have good comedic timing, like my brother and I do, then we can match well with those guys. You know.
Yeah.
We ain't gonna do anything too stupid or ridiculous, but we know how to mesh the seriousness with the comedy and make it work. You know.
Yeah.
So we did a little everything in that match, but those guys are cool, man. Like whenever I would see like Kevin Steen after that, like I seen him at when I did the tryout at the PC. I seen Steen and he still remembers.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
I could chat up with him a little bit and stuff like that. So it was cool as hell. Like I like that match a lot. It was cool. A lot of people still talk.
Also, El Generico has got to be the greatest name for a luchador ever. I mean, it's literally like the blank one. Like, and now both of them are obviously huge in WWE. Like, that must have been awesome.
Yeah, it was cool, man. Like they was on their rise. Like we was both rising up at the same time. So that was a good time for us to, you know, work each other.
Yeah, that's sick. And so the other thing that I fully maybe marked out even more for was in NWA cyberspace, you were once managed by Tammy Stitch, Sonny from the WWF. How the fuck did that happen? And like, just tell me about that. Like how the fuck? That's amazing.
Oh man, she was feuding with this tag team called The Solution.
Okay.
We were in a feud with them, and we had defeated them for the tag titles. And The Solution had a manager named John Shane. My brother and I, we didn't have a manager, so it made sense to pit her with us, you know.
So was it just a one match thing, or was it throughout the feud, or?
Yeah, it was like a well, Sunny with us was like, I think that was like a 1 or 2 show thing. Yeah.
Okay. And how was she to work with at the time? Because I know she's like well documented. She's had her issues and shit. Was she cool? Like,
he was cool, man. Not a problem at all. She was cool. We got like a little backstage, vignette with her.
Oh yeah, that's sick, man. Because you guys must have known her as a fan, like as Sunny, right? So that must have been pretty sick for you guys.
Yeah. I remember when they had sent us like the rundown of like the show, I think a week before. And we are reading it, we're like, huh? Sunny with us?
No way.
Like, oh. Like, really?
Dude, yeah, even just reading your like the highlights and stuff of your career, I was like, holy shit, that is cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
So if you guys were basically crushing it, I mean, that's everywhere. Oh. Those are the indies from top to bottom, East Coast, West Coast, and everywhere in between. What made you move to China?
Oh man. Well, in 2014, my brother decided to, step away from the business.
Okay.
Because he has 2 kids,
right.
So we are living in New York at the time. New York is like, the rent in New York is super expensive.
Yeah.
The wrestling business, like on the indies, it was kind of dropping a little bit. So there wasn't as many bookings coming in, not as much money coming in. And he has 2 kids. So he's like, I'm going to relocate down to Florida,
Yeah.
Because, it's just not like things aren't really picking up the way they were like years ago.
Yeah.
So I'm like, ooh. And he's the one that was like, yo, go back to Japan. Because we was in Japan before together as a tag team and like going back and forth and stuff like that. But we was trying to like make something work in the States, like get a contract with like one of the bigger companies.
Yeah.
But it's they wasn't really like hiring tag teams, so it's like the timing was off. So he's basically like moved back to Japan like we planned to do and just work out there full time. And when the time is right, I'll come back in. So I was like, all right. So that's when I moved to Japan full time, 2014, working for Pro Wrestling 01. Then there, I was like going on tours to like different countries in Asia representing 01. So that's when I went to like Myanmar, South Korea, Nepal.
Right.
And this is where I met Bitman.
Okay.
I met Bitman in 2014 when I moved back to Japan.
Right. That's right, because HKWF had a relationship with 01, right?
Oh yeah. And that's where I met Bitman, Ho.
Yeah.
That's family right there. That's my family, man. So
yeah, I actually had a few beers with those guys a couple of weeks, maybe about 6 weeks ago now. But yeah, I was with Bitman, Ho, and Chairman Al. We went for beers.
Cool. Yeah, man. Those boys, man. So that's what opened up the door for me and Macau.
Okay.
So I wound up leaving 01, and I think 2016, 17.
Right.
I went back to for about 6 months. Then that's when Bitman contacted me and told me about the company that was starting in Macau inside the strip club.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, boy. Type of stuff he's talking about doing. Like,
yeah.
Oh, I'm in. So instead of going back to Japan, I decided to go to Macau.
So you lived in Macau?
Yeah.
But then how long? Because that didn't last too long, did it? The strip club thing?
Like about 3-4 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, about 3 or 4 months. I wound up leaving a few weeks or maybe a month before it like completely closed down.
Yeah, because Ho said to me that there was a show in front of one fan, and then they had to get the strippers in from next door to like fill out the crowd.
Yeah, man, it was something. Yeah, because it started off like we wrestled twice a day. And this every day we had matches. It used to be like 2 times a day. Then when the crowd started to drop, it became once a day. And it's like sometimes it'd be like it'd be packed, sometimes it wouldn't be. There'd be like one person there and we still have to wrestle because they paid, you know?
Yeah.
So it was like it was touch and go for a while, man. And it just like we didn't care because you know we're right next door to strippers.
Yeah.
Like the party scene after was more than enough to cover the freaking lack of fans in the crowd, you know. So we didn't care. Like either way, we were still wrestling, we still getting paid.
And you get to party. Yeah. Yeah, dude, Macau is a sick night out too.
Yeah, people pay for that experience. Like
yeah, exactly, right?
And if for free, yeah, we getting paid. Like, come on now.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong with that. Can't complain. So I'm like, hey man, I didn't really care too much about the crowd.
So then how did you go from Macau to China?
All right, so while I was in Macau, I forgot what company it was. It was like a streaming company. They had started a streaming deal with CZW to stream CZW shows for the streaming site in China.
Okay.
So they was looking for a representative to represent CZW. Now, I was only one in like Macau or China that's wrestled for CZW.
Yeah.
So Ho brought it to my attention. He's like, would you like to, you know, come and do like, it was like a press conference or something. And he's like, we need a representative for like CZW because I guess the CZW guys couldn't come to China. So I was like, I haven't wrestled there in like years.
Yeah.
So I'm like, he was like, yeah, they're gonna get you your work visa and all that, you know, everything is paid for. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'll have a day off from wrestling in Macau, sure.
Yeah.
So I was coming and doing a press conference for this streaming deal that CZW had. And that's when I had got my work visa. I didn't even know I had a work visa until after, like, I think it was like months later.
Oh.
It was like after like the Macau company closed, that's when I found out that I really had like a 10-year work visa or a tourist visa or whatever.
Yeah.
But I had no idea at the time, you know? So that's what opened up the door for me to wrestle in China, like full time.
So then was MKW the first guys you got in touch with in China?
I would say, yeah, because Adrian and Big Sam, they came to the first Macau show. That's where I met. That's the first time I met them.
Okay, cool.
They came to the first Macau show, and they was also a part of the press conference for the streaming site. So I had met them a second time when I went to do the press conference representing CZW.
Right.
But MKW wasn't the first company I wrestled for in China. It was another company. It was kind of like, I guess it was funded by the company in Macau because the club was called Roscoe. So it was like funded by Roscoe, the strip club.
Right.
So that was the company I did in China. Then I did a second show was for WLW.
Right.
For Gals company. Then I think MKW was like the third company I wrestled for in China. But this was cool. Like a year later after that.
Because now you're basically everywhere in China, right? IBEW, MKW, KOPW.
I done wrestled for every company in China. Like I was working for OWE for like a few months.
How was that? I've heard conflicting stories of OWE.
Oh man, OWE. It wasn't what I was expecting, man. My only problem with OWE was a lot of the people in the office didn't know anything about pro wrestling.
Yeah.
They didn't know anything about it. So that was one thing. And the second thing was there wasn't as many shows as they told me it was going to be. They told me it was going to be about 3 or more shows a week.
Right.
So when I get there, there's like only like maybe one show a week.
Oh, really?
Maybe something. it was like, it was very weird, you know.
But they had like some crazy high production value, right?
Yeah, because the owner was he was like a director, a movie director.
Yeah, because when I saw the first stuff coming out, I was like, holy shit, this is gonna be huge.
Yeah.
But then I spoke to a few people, and like apparently the guys they were training had no training at all. They're like a bunch of like Shaolin monks and stuff, and they were all doing the exact same moves, and every match was exactly the same. And
they were like all like stunt men and actors, you know, martial artists, like mechanic. They're great. They could do all the moves and stuff like that. They just didn't know how to piece it together.
Right. Which is the main part, really.
Yeah. But they like a lot of them, like they were cool, man. I say not all of them. There's like a handful of the guys, the ones that are still there now wrestling. Those are the ones that took it seriously and they listened. And man, they have it, man. They just need the right person behind them to really like push them. They need to work more. Companies like MKW get more exposure, you know?
Yeah. Because they don't really do any collaboration. They did the thing with AEW when they first started, but then even that went to shit straight away, basically.
Yeah, because the guys couldn't get visas to the States.
Oh, that's right. Because it was the Strong Hearts, right? The three guys who went over. SEMA, I don't know who the other two were. Yeah, they had it. And then because SoCal, Christopher Daniels and Kazarian went over to China and had a couple of matches, right?
Yeah, I was there during that time.
Oh yeah.
They only did one match. Yeah, they only came and did one match. Yeah.
Yeah, that was weird. They're like, oh yeah, huge partnership, and then I was like, oh okay, great, they're done now.
That's one of those things, man. It's like, you know.
Yeah.
We got one thing, the other side expecting something else, and it's like nobody really wants to fully commit. That's what that was, you know.
Yeah.
Because I think AEW didn't want to like put money into getting the Chinese guys their work visas or something like that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, it sounds like there's a bunch of issues with those guys, but but so when did you make the transformation almost? Because when you guys were All Money is Legal, what were your names? Like K Murder? Yeah. So when did you change from that to Buffa? And when did you go from like the gangster to the boombox and the clips in your hair and stuff like that?
Oh, it was like really like kind of like two transformations. This came after Japan. That's when we went from All Money is Legal to the House Party in the States, because they had changed our names in Japan. That's really? The name Buffa came from Japan, because the owner of 01 at the time, he's the one that's responsible for me being there and getting an opportunity. He had changed my name to Buffa because, you know, it was easy to pronounce because I push murder. He was like, I don't think like the Japanese fans be able to
yeah.
like say it, you know what I mean? They don't really understand it. So he wanted something more simpler. So he's like Buffa. And it was based off of like another name, like, cause like the first time I went to Japan, my brother couldn't make it because his son was born. So, you know, you have to make that decision. So I wound up going by myself, and there was another guy there who was doing like a Samoan gimmick. So they was like, all right, we expect you to be here as a tag wrestler. Now your brother can't make it, so we're gonna keep you in the tag team for the time being. And this other guy's name was Zuffa.
Okay.
That's where he came up named Buffa. He was like, what's name you want, Buffa or Zuffa? And I'm thinking like Zuffa, that's like the old company that was like...
That used to own UFC, right?
UFC, yeah. So I was like, I don't want to... I was like, I'll take Buffa. But that's where the Buffa name came from. Then later that year, when I went back with my brother, they was like, murder. They didn't know how to say murder.
Yeah.
So they changed the name. So they changed his name to Brother Buffa.
Okay.
Like Buffa's brother. And we was called the Buffa brothers at that time. So when we came back to the States, we was like, yeah, maybe it's time to change the name, you know, because in Japan, you know, you have to be extra animated, more fan friendly. So I was like, let's just keep that going here in the States. Let's change the image. So that's where we came up with the house party, because we're like big fans of Kid and Play, big fans like the old school look and feel.
Nice.
So we took the house party, KMC, because my brother used to rap. And I took on the name Puli K because people always say, oh, you like LL Cool J.
Nice.
I be Puli K, he's KMC, we're the house party. So that's when we like started to be more animated, and I started to wear the clips in my hair, you know, be more charismatic. So it came after Japan, man, you know.
That's awesome. Because the first time I saw it was at the HKWF show, maybe 2017, 2018. Yeah. And your entrance, the whole fucking place went mental. And I was like, holy shit, like, who is this guy? Like, they're all banging on the chairs and shit. And then you run up to the crowd and you're dancing in the crowd with your boombox and shit. Everyone's already drunk as well. So it's just like, yeah. Like, it was crazy. Did you make like a conscious point to make your entrance like fucking full blown energy and just crazy?
You know, not really, man. I just like to, it depends on how I feel. Like, I know I have the conscious like thought of going out there and just showing my charisma to the highest point. But I don't know what I'm gonna do when I come through that curtain. I don't know how I'm gonna react to the fan. I don't know, whatever comes to my mind, I don't even think about it, man. I just let my feet do the walking, man. So I didn't plan on running up there. Because if I would have thought about it beforehand, I would have been like, you know what? When I come out, I'm gonna run up the bleachers.
Yeah.
If I thought about that beforehand, I would be like, nah, I would shut it down, because I'd be like, what if I trip and fall?
Right. So yeah, because I always sit at the back row in the Hong Kong at the HKWF shows. So I'm always at the back because we always got our bags of drinks and shit. Yeah, you were right up there with us, like, we're all standing there, yeah, Buffa, this is awesome. Like I was absolutely loving it. And I think you were wrestling with Bitman.
Yeah,
and I remember just fully marking out for that match. That was sick. And the crowd was so into it.
Ooh, that crowd was amazing, man. That was one of my crowds. I gotta say, like, I give my 3 favorite crowds had to have been HKWF, that show.
Yeah.
This last show for IBEW.
Yeah.
And the show I did, all the shows I've done in Taiwan for MTW.
Oh yeah?
Man, that had, like, when I made my debut for NTW, that was one of the biggest reactions I think I've ever received.
Oh really?
My first time being there and hearing the way the crowd reacted to me. Whew,
they love it.
All over the world, and that was just insane, man.
That's cool, man. That's cool that even your first time, they knew who you were, and they just, but like in Hong Kong, right? People feed off your energy. When you come out with that big boombox. The other one I saw was when you wrestled Ash Silver at Bash at the Bay 2 for MKW in that massive club with the huge entrance. Like, that was crazy. I was watching that again this afternoon. Like, holy shit, man, those people are eating out of the palm of your hand. And then you're sitting in the crowd with these chicks and stuff, like, yeah, what's up? Like, that shit was cool, man.
Yeah, man. I'm just feeding off the energy, man. Like that, the crowd reaction makes it easier for me, man.
Yeah.
Like I just feel like I just get fully engaged with the crowd, you know.
Because I know that's amazing, and they feed off your energy too, which fucking works. It's epic.
Awesome, man. That's why I can't turn.
Yeah. So you mentioned before, like, you won a bunch of tag titles, the NWA Cyberspace tag titles, PWU with your brother and stuff. But then, what was it? 3 weeks ago, you became the first ever IBEW heavyweight champion, their first champion ever. How did it feel to win your first? Is that your first singles title or your first world title? Or
it was my second my second singles world title because I was the 01/NWA United Nationals heavyweight champion back in like 2015.
Okay, sick.
So that was major. That was my first singles title, and it was like what, my first year in Japan as a singles wrestler. I win this title, man. This is tradition. This is history. This is an NWA title.
Exactly. As soon as you hear those letters NWA, like, you know, you got something.
That's one thing I loved about 01, man. They keep tradition alive. They still use the old AWA heavyweight title and the NWA title. You know? So that right there, man, for me, that's still like up there at the top, man.
Yeah.
But outside of that, the IBEW title, heavyweight title, man, first ever. Oh, man.
And that's a sexy ass belt. That belt looks fine.
So
I look at that and I look at my UWA belt and I'm like, shit, I need to up my game.
Yeah, man, that's a nice belt, man.
Yeah, but then also what, 2 weeks later, you win the MKW first ever again, MKW tag team titles with DC Chen. Yeah. How was that? How did that feel? Was there, because did you have some crowd for that as well?
It was a small crowd. It was a small crowd. It didn't have the same effect as winning the IBEW title. And that was huge for me. That's like #1 for me because I'm the first ever champion.
Yeah, exactly, right? You're in the history books no matter what.
That right there is #1 for me, even above like the UN heavyweight title, because there was champions before me. So this one right here, that means the most to me, as well as the MKW tag titles, because I'm one half of the first ever.
Yeah, exactly, right? You're gonna be in trivia questions for the rest of time.
Yeah, man. Like those two are like hold a special place in my heart, man. I just wish there was a live crowd at that MKW show for that one, man. Because
that was sick.
It meant a lot, man, but it would have meant so much more to have that live crowd, man.
Yeah, and you beat the stable, right?
Yeah, I beat the stable.
You beat Trey and Big Sam. That also, I mean, going into that, I was like, okay, I honestly thought you were no chance. Stable are gonna cakewalk this. They're gonna get you out of the match somehow, and then just beat the shit out of whole little DC. Like when you see Big Sam powerbomb that guy, you're like, oh shit, he's dead. Like those some big dudes. So when I saw you guys come out with those belts, like that was sick. And also those belts are sexy too.
Oh yeah.
They kind of remind me a little bit of when Jeff Hardy was the champion in TNA?
No, I said that. I don't know. Who did I tell that? I told somebody the same thing.
Yeah.
When I was like, yo, this is like Jeff Hardy's belt, because it had like the silver and the purple.
Yeah.
It has like that Hardy feel. Like
I was just like, oh shit, that's cool.
Yeah.
When you guys won that was epic. But then I saw a few days after you'd won both belts, and then you went on Facebook and you had a little, not a rant, but I'll just read it for you, okay? So it said, hey, Black wrestling content creators, where's the love? Where's the support? Where's the spotlight? Where's the likes and reposts? Alberto Curry, Trey Williams, obviously a Zombie Dragon, and Uncle Money. We've been overseas representing for years and we're ignored. Why is that? We've been pushing our culture for years. Where y'all at? Now, first of all, I totally agree. The three of you, you, Zombie Dragon, Uncle Money, are a huge part of the Asian wrestling scene at the minute. Do you think that you're not getting the love or respect as much as you would do in the States because you're in Asia?
No, because one thing I've noticed over the years, like with me and my brother, they would never give us the same type of respect and exposure as they would give other guys who haven't even accomplished nearly close to what we have, So I don't think it's because I'm in Asia. And especially now in the social media era, you can see,
right?
Yeah. So there's really no excuse, man. I guess it comes down to fact that I'm not kissing anybody's ass, which I never do. I never been out there. I'm all about networking, 100. But I'm not kissing anybody's ass to get exposure or to get a repost. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You guys are the content creators. Like, this is content you should be creating. Look
exactly.
at where
as soon as I saw that, that's when I reached out to you straight away. I was like, yo, dude, you just won 2 belts in a fucking week. Like, I'd love to have you on my show. Like, and I guarantee you, if you're wrestling in a nightclub or some of the China shows in the malls and shit, when they see you coming out, people, that's who you remember from a show. Was it you? You came out on one of those like mini, almost like a suitcase car thing.
Yeah, the little, I forgot, I don't even know what they call them things.
Yeah.
That the little ride around the mall.
Yeah. Like what? Where did you come up with that? Was that just one thing? You're like, yo, I'm gonna try this today.
Yeah, man. It was me and Cam Ferguson.
Right.
He was just coming back from getting coffee. And you know, I'm about, you know, having like this super energetic entrances and stuff like that. Even though I don't like what I want to do before I do it. If I see something, like I saw with the little, you know, cart, I'm gonna go along with it, you know?
Yeah, dude. Honestly, that was another thing I marked out for. That was sick.
This stuff scattered all over that mall, and I'm like, I could use one of these.
Yeah.
So I was like, I got on there and I started playing around with it. So we asked one of the ladies that worked there, say how much it costs to, you know, drive this around. She said, oh, it's this amount. I said, all right, cool. So I said, yeah, I'm gonna come out with this today. So awesome. That's something I thought about beforehand, and I actually did it, and it was cool, man. That thing was so slow, though. I went around the whole entrance of them. Instead of going straight to the ring, I went all around because I thought it was going to be a little bit faster. I got halfway to the entrance. I was like, man, why didn't I just go straight to the ring? This thing was so slow. My entrance took like 3 minutes.
that was awesome, though. I loved it. I thought that was sick. And it's stuff like that, which it's just what people are going to remember. Because if you're in a mall and you haven't seen wrestling before, or you don't know what's going on, you're going to be like, yo, you see that huge black dude with dreadlocks coming around on like some kitty car around the ring? Like, that's amazing.
I love doing stuff like that. Like when I walk past a fan, like I think it was that same show. I didn't come out with the cart. Like I wrestled twice, so I didn't come out with the cart the second time because it's so slow.
Yeah.
So I just walked to the ring. And it was some random kid walking up the he was walking through. He wasn't even like a fan. He was just going to one of the department stores, and I'm making my entrance. So while he's walking towards me, I just grab him, put my arm around him, and I start walking. I'm like, "How you doing, man? You all right?" And he's just like, "Yeah." So I give him my handshake, and I just go walking off. The dude starts following me.
Oh no way!
I'm like, this dude wasn't even there for the wrestling. He's just there going shopping. And I just come up to him, show him attention. He's just following me to the ring. I'm just like,
I bet you he'll be at the next show, though. That's how it works, right?
Hey, man, I just love doing that, making people making them a part of the show, man, because they're spending their time and money to come see us. So why not make them a part of the show, man? Like, if I'm a fan and a wrestler did that to me, that would have made my freaking life.
Oh my God, yeah, absolutely, right? Like even in Hong Kong, when you come up to the crowd, we're all like you freak out for stuff like that.
That stuff we remember forever, man. Like we can talk about things that happened like in our childhood that we still remember to this day.
Yeah,
something so small that made a big difference on our lives, man.
Yeah,
and you're older, you wind up doing that for other people, you know.
Yeah,
so that's. I just love to do, man. Like just random people just say, "Hey, how you doing?" Like talking to them for a few, then going on about finishing my entrance. Hey, you know?
That's sick. Your entrance sometimes must be longer than some of your matches.
And MKW, absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
For sure.
All right, sweet. Well, what I like to do with everyone before we finish is do like a bit of a speed round, just like a few questions. Just hit me up with your answers. If you've got a cool story, obviously tell it. Right. If not, we'll just move on. We'll roll on, okay? So we'll start. Sure. Favorite wrestler of all time, living or dead?
123 Kid, X-Pac, Sean Waltman, Lightning Kid, Six, whatever name, Cannonball Kid, Kamikaze Kid.
Shit, you know every single one of the names.
The Kid.
The Kid, yeah.
Yeah.
Any
X-Pac.
particular era of him, or just anything?
I loved his what is it, 98 run when he
first came back into DX.
Yeah, DX. His DX run was awesome. He was at his best.
Yeah.
He was having like some
European
of the best
European title feud with Shane McMahon. Woo!
Man, D'Lo Brown, his matches with The Rock.
And D'Lo, yeah.
Yeah.
And then my favorite, which no one ever talks about, is X Factor. We're coming with the X Factor. The Uncle Cracker theme tune.
Yeah. The past few days I've been on the X Factor run, just watching all their matches because I still study wrestling every day. So that was one of the matches I was like going back on and studying, like the X Factor run.
Because also I love Just Incredible because I grew up in Hong Kong, so we didn't get any ECW growing up. So I've only known ECW basically since I've been into the other stuff. And I just thought Just Incredible was the coolest name ever. And then when he came into WWE and stuff, I was like, oh, this guy, that's it. And then they brought in Albert. I was like, yeah, I love these guys. And everyone hated on them, but I thought it was sick. The Uncle Cracker theme tune was amazing.
Yeah, I liked it. A lot of people didn't, but
yeah, everybody hates on it. And that's when they gave the term X-Pac Heat. And I was like, bullshit, man. He was the cruiserweight and light heavyweight champion at the same time.
Yeah, I hated that X-Pac Heat. I'm like, that's how you know how good of a heel he was, man.
Yeah, exactly. You hate him so much, you want to leave the building. That means he's doing his job.
Yeah.
Yeah, good for him. All right, sweet, bro. We'll move on. Who's your favorite person to wrestle? Like yourself.
Man, that's a tough one, man. Man, I'll have to say right now, MKW, I would have to say the stable.
Yeah.
I would have to say the stable. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen you had some sick matches with Ash Silva.
Yeah. I like mixing it up with the stable, you know, and I like my matches with MA. Like my matches with Zombie Dragon as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, those I would have to say those guys, man, because those are the guys I've been wrestling like consistently for like the past year. So I have to throw them in there, man. I just can't, man. I have to go like what country, what company, like so it's hard to just pick one, man. So right now, I have to be them.
All right, sure. And this is like a two-part question. What's your favorite match? If you had to, as I said, the Big Sam and stuff, if you're on a desert island and you have one match that you can watch for the rest of your life, what would it be? And then also, what's the one match that you've been a part of that you are the most proud of and the one you can watch back the most?
Okay. The one match as a fan that I would watch back on the desert island would be 123 Kid versus Bret Hart.
Versus Bret Hart?
Yes.
Okay, nice. Was that on pay-per-view or is that just a Raw or?
The Raw. It's for the WWF World Heavyweight title. Just a random Raw.
Oh, nice.
Well, it's like 30 minutes or something like that. Yeah.
That's sick. Also, what I love is that X-Pac or Sean Waltman, whatever, he was like the measuring stick. So if you could have if he could have a good match with you, you stick around. If you can't have a good match with X-Pac or the Kid, you out of here.
That's it. That's a good position to be in, man. That's a great position, man.
Yeah, exactly, right? A two-time Hall of Famer now.
He's gonna be 3. I see a third one coming for 123 Kid.
That would be sick. That would be sick. Imagine him of all people, the first 3-time Hall of Famer.
Woo! Imagine that.
Because, I mean, he had his shit, man. He had his troubles, right? And he's got his shit together. He's got himself back. He's also got a podcast, which is X-Pac 123 or something it's called.
Yeah.
I mean, his setup is a little more professional than mine, but...
You got it looking good, man. Just got to add a few things, man. Be set.
I know, yeah. I need a studio. I've got a green screen on the other side, but my cat always fucking attacks it, so I can't use it.
Think about the green screen back here. All these podcasts I've been doing lately, man. Everybody complain about this pole. Like, what
really?
is that?
Yeah.
Man. Now, let me see. The other question was one of my matches.
Yeah. What's your favorite match that you've been a part of?
And you know what, man? One thing that makes me upset is like my best stuff isn't online. Like it's been recorded, but for some reason they haven't released it, which I hate. But I would have to say my match against one of my trainers, Shinjiro Otani in Japan for 0-1.
Oh yeah.
That one right, which recently was taken down. So
how come?
I think the person that uploaded it, his channel got canceled.
Okay.
So I might have to do a little bit of So I would have to say that one, me against Otani, and I throw up a recent one was me against Shinjay for the IBEW heavyweight title.
Yeah, that was sick, and that was a hot crowd too.
Yeah, man, just the crowd, the match, the end result.
Yeah. Always helps when you become a world champion at the end of it, right?
that would have to be, absolutely.
Nice. Okay, and then what's your favorite? Where is your favorite place to wrestle? I mean, going through that list before, like Chikara, CZW, FMW, MKW, HKWF.
Damn, man. Favorite place to wrestle.
Or hottest crowd that you've wrestled in front of?
I'm gonna have to say, man. I'm gonna have to say HKWF.
Yeah, we're crazy over here.
That was a weird one because it was my first time wrestling for HKWF, even though I was already an official member of the roster even before I had my first match there. You know? I lived in Hong Kong for like a few years,
Yeah.
So I know guys, Bitman, Ho, that's family right there. So I went to one HKWF show prior to wrestling on it. And the crowd was hot, but when I had my debut match, the crowd was 10 times hotter than it was when I was there watching the crowd. So I had to say HKWF, man. Those 2 days were amazing. That crowd was so hot, man.
Yeah, it's also the thing is here, we don't get many shows, right? So when there are shows, we lose our shit for it.
Yeah.
So we literally, and also the fact that it's BYOB is amazing. So I come in with my 7-Eleven bag of beers. By the interval, I'm pretty fucked up. Like,
what's funny about that? Here's a story for you. The night before that show, me and Bitman was out partying in Macau.
Nice.
Catching up with all our old, running buddies that were still there. So I think it was like a typhoon that day.
Yeah, it was a Typhoon 8.
Yeah, we almost didn't even make it back to Hong Kong. We was almost stuck in Macau.
Yeah. That was crazy.
But luckily, we was able to get back. We got back. Actually, we almost missed that show too. And it wasn't because we were stuck in Macau. We had to wait until the morning to get the ferry back to Hong Kong. So we get back to Hong Kong at like 8 a.m.
Oh, on the day of the show?
Yeah. Me and Bitman are trash. We get back to Hong Kong at 8 a.m. First thing we do is go home and we just fall out, man. We passed out. I think Bitman's brother woke us up at like 3 p.m. and say, don't you guys have to wrestle today?
You got a show.
We wake up and we're like, still hungover. We all drunk. We had to get a taxi from the house to the show, man. And everybody's like, you guys run out last night? He's like, yeah, how you know? He's like, we can smell the alcohol.
Yeah.
Done, man. We in a taxi and the damn, it's just pouring, man.
Yeah, that was a crazy storm that night.
Yeah, man, it was wild. And I think Bitman threw up before his match. He's stretching, doing his stretches, his splits. Next thing you know, like, he's like, yeah, I'm good. He goes right. He drinks a little bit of water and just go wrestle. I'm like, yeah.
That's right. What does he say on his ass? Keep it real. Keep it real, Bitman. Yeah.
Yeah, man, that was so much fun, man. That crowd was amazing, man. I can't wait to get back there, man. Just to hang.
I mean, God, hopefully soon we can, especially China. I mean, you guys are so close. Like, how can we not even? But 3 weeks quarantine right now. It's crazy.
And you know what's crazy, man? I live right around the corner from the border.
Oh shit! Really? So you can see Hong Kong.
My window. Yeah, I can see. I can see the border from the window. I can just go downstairs, walk around the corner. I'm right there. I'm like, I can't even come into Hong Kong. God damn.
It is crazy, man. Even the fact that Ho was supposed to put on like the biggest HKWF show last year, but then obviously then the riots here started as well. So the riots blocked the shows, and then fucking COVID screwed everything. So Ho hasn't been put on a show for over 2 years now. It's insane. Like that Cancun show was the last Hong Kong show.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Sucks, man. It's so unfortunate, man.
Well, hopefully soon, even if it's just Hong Kong and China, Jesus Christ, that would be sick. Get some boys over. There's enough of you guys over there that we could put on some sick shows, and then hopefully we can record our fucking UWA shows as well.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the dream, because I'm sitting here. I mean, I got this belt made, and then I got the women's title as well, and then you can't do your shows. Like, come on! Like, this is the only chance anyone's gonna see the belt because on a podcast, like it's insane.
Yeah, like, come on, man, let's go, man.
Yeah. Oh God. Anyway, okay. Last question. Who is your dream opponent from current roster, WWE, AEW, New Japan? If you could pick one guy to have a wrestling match with, who would it be?
Who do you think it would be? Actually, it's two people.
Yeah.
So I'll give one. One is a guy who was a mentor, and that's Two Cold Scorpio.
Oh, sick!
He's still going strong, so it can definitely.
He must be like 50 years old as well.
Yeah, he's like what, 53 now? 53?
Also, another guy, because I never saw ECW, I was introduced to him as Flash Funk.
Yeah.
And he used to come out with the Funk hits.
Oh, I love that gimmick, man.
He was dancing around and shit. He did his 450 splash. Like, that was crazy. And then I saw him as Scorpio, and I was like, this dude's badass.
Yeah, man. That Scorpio for sure. Because he's still active, and the other one would be X-Pac.
Yeah, X-Pac. Okay. Is he technically retired now, or is he?
Nah, he didn't retire.
He's in the best shape he's ever fucking been in.
Yeah, he's gonna make. He said that he's making a comeback. He's got to get a knee surgery, I think. Then he's planning on making a comeback and just having like a few matches.
You want to be one of those matches?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be sick, dude.
Yeah, man. Those two for sure, man. Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Buffa,
I don't care.
Kid.
I'm not going to give you the list of all these dream matches that's become like so many wrestlers. I don't give a damn about anybody else. Like, I've had the dream matches with. Forget trying to have dream matches with anybody else or giving a list.
Yeah. All right, sweet, man. Well, thank you so much for coming on. It's been awesome to talk to you. You've literally had one of the coolest careers I've ever heard of, especially for a guy who's wrestling in China now. Congratulations on all your success. IBEW Champion, MKW Tag Champ. I'm sure there'll be many more belts in your future. Maybe even one day you have this one over the other shoulder. Yeah, there you go. But yeah, it's been awesome to chat to you, brother. Thank you so much for coming on, and hopefully, fingers crossed, I can actually see you in person soon.
Yes.
Yes. All right, man. Well, thank you so much for everything, and take care.
All right, you too.
Cheers, brother. Take care. Bye-bye, man.
Peace, man.